Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Doug Chadderdon, the president and CEO of Great Floors. Doug, how you doing?
I'm fine, Kemp. Good to chat with you.
It's good to talk to you. Quick set the stage. Probably one of the most successful independent flooring retailers. If you look at our last top 100, you were number 19 at $191 million. Now, that's our estimate, so it's probably better than that. You have 20 stores in the Pacific Northwest. You've been in this business for 40 years, and you're the same age as I am.
Yeah. Isn't that ironic?
It is ironic. You're in business with your cousin, Ken. You got started in the banking business originally, did that for a little while. Little known fact, you were a former president of the NFA before Gary Sissel took that role way back when. And even before that, you were the founder of Carpets Plus, right?
That is true. All of that is true.
Okay.
The NFA was an interesting time. It was a great group. When I joined, there were 8 members, and I think 2 of us joined, so bumped it up to 10. And we had only had one president of the group for its 6 or 8 year existence. And the board decided this should rotate around the membership and be for a 2-year term. And so I was the first person selected to be the second president of the group and served my 2 years. And Gary Sissel followed me in that role. I think we grew from 10 to 25 members when I left.
I think there's 43 now. You're also a member of Starnet. You've said before in other interviews we've done that you've got 3 segments you focus on. You focus on commercial, you focus on builder, and by the way, with builder, you're a member of Floor Expo. And then you focus on the retail replacement sector. And, you know, we did an article just in the last issue, the July issue. If somebody wants to see one of your newer stores, we got a picture of the showroom in the article we did on beating the home centers. So it's a good-looking stores. You also looking at your website, you got a great-looking website. I think you're using Creating Your Space on that. And looks like you've recently spent some money on that. You've got all kinds of different options for the consumer to ground themselves before they come in and make a purchase, don't you?
I hope we get to chat about this more, but our marketing department's working really hard right now. This COVID has changed everything. That's becoming very important to Great Floors and our industry, the use of the Internet. It has been for a number of years, but this really made it, moved it to the forefront. But yes, we've put a lot of capital and a lot of man-hours in improving our web presence.
All right, so you just finished July, and I've been waiting with bated breath here. Tell us how your July did this year.
Actually, I received the numbers about 2 hours ago. It kind of shocked me. We were up over last July.
Yeah.
So a little bit surprising given that we have 17 locations in Washington State, and it's been really hammered by COVID. But I can tell you, last year we did, I'll give you some broad numbers, about $100 million in commercial and $50 million in retail and $50 million in builder. And this year, I'd say the builder's going to be more like $80 million. So we're really seeing a lot of growth in new home construction all over in every market we're in.
And so that's probably where, as we look back on this year in 2020, I think that's probably the shining star is with the interest rates where they are, and with people now having locked down and having lived in wherever they were living, whether it be an apartment or a condo, they're saying, man, I got to get more space. I got to get out in the rural area. Money's free. It's time to buy a house. Is that what's going on?
Well, without question. We recently entered Montana. The Bozeman, Montana market's just white hot. Missoula, Montana's hot. And Boise's been mentioned for the last 15 years as one of the growth areas in the West. And it's white hot as well. So, but all our markets are really good with new home construction.
So how has this virus shifted the business? I mean, like we say, builders strong. How is your commercial business year over year?
It's flat, and I'm delighted with that. Although, like almost everyone you've talked to, I listen to your interviews regularly. The first 2 months were really robust, and we were really counting on a big year of growth. But to say that it's flat through 7 months, I'm pretty happy with that. There have been just a few of government-related contracts that were canceled because of state budget issues.
Yeah.
And the commercial market, it lags because we signed contracts last fall that we're now just installing the material. So, but we didn't see the private sector cancel projects like I was fearing in March and April. So that's good. They're continuing to build.
Yeah. And your outlook for next year is most people are saying that 21 is going to be a bigger concern for me on commercial. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I agree totally. I think the bank financing is going to be the big issue. You get some vacancy concerns going forward, and that makes, unless you're, Google or Alphabet or Microsoft, and they're all in our market, but unless you're one of those guys, lenders are going to be pretty suspect about speculative office buildings.
Oh, I know, exactly.
And retail, as you know, is going to be real tough.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about retail in the commercial sector. I'm
sorry, yeah, the retail leased space.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so hospitality is going to be dead. Stores, the floors that go in stores, that's going to be dead. And then office is, tenant improvement, big question mark.
Huge. Even down to the K through 12 and higher ed markets, I'm a little concerned about because of state budget issues. I think they're going to have to postpone these unless there's some federal intervention.
So that just leaves us with the medical and senior living, right?
Yes. And actually, both of those, as well as K through 12, are kind of our strong points in our commercial presence. It's a bit of our expertise.
Oh, that's good.
So that's good.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about retail, because I think retail, like you said, we talked about your website a minute ago, but that has really transformed. I mean, people want to know off the bat that you're concerned about their health, and that they don't want you coming in their home, changing the floors out, unless you're going through some protocols. Tell us what's going on at retail.
Well, that's the first message that we have to get out, first and foremost, is that we will practice or utilize safe measures when we interact with you, whether it's at the store or in your home.
Yeah.
You have to give the consumer that assurance right from the get-go. But what we're seeing, and I've heard this before, what we're seeing is people gather all their information almost right down to final product selection, and then once they've decided the retailer they want to go to, they come in with their wallet in their hands, and decision is pretty much made up. We assist them, obviously, in making sure they're making the right decision for their application. But they've gathered a lot of information on the Internet, which means for us, we have to not only tell them we have all of this and this huge assortment, but go right into the specifics of our knowledge about each product. So providing assurance both on the safety side and the information side has really become critical. We think we only have one shot now. It used to be 2, maybe 3 stores they'd go to, but I think we have one opportunity to close the deal now.
Isn't that interesting? Because, there's a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, I'm talking about you go to some of these websites and people are overselling. They're telling me things about waterproof. They're telling me things about durability. Because these are your customers and you want them to be happy and you want a referral 5 years from now, and you got to make sure they get the right product.
Words are critical, and some of the words that our industry is using on the Internet are a bit misleading. I don't want to complain a year from now. By the way, just Friday I had a water softener leak, and I had a flood in my home with waterproof material, which is all being replaced.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you from personal experience, there's no waterproof. But I hope our staff does not oversell and provides accurate information.
All right, we're about to run out of time. I've just got this one last question. I'm just curious, when this virus is a memory back here, how do you think it will have changed the business the most?
I think all of us, the independent dealers, will be much more in tune with marketing via the Internet than our local paper, radio, billboards. I think that's the number one thing I see, is that the American consumer's changed. You see it in Amazon's stock price.
Right.
The Internet's important.
So they don't necessarily do the e-commerce. They don't fire the gun and pull the wallet out with the screen in front of them, but they do all the background and make most of the decisions before they get there, right?
We used to upgrade our website once a year. We're doing it monthly now.
Yeah.
And it's got to be top of mind.
All right, Doug, it's great to talk to you. Hope you have a good, strong second half. Again, been talking to Doug Chadderdon, the president and CEO of Great Floors, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.